Hey guys, mini message today is starting in Genesis chapter 38. And we're glad you joined us, but let me be honest with you. This is one of the strangest passages of Scripture that you're going to find in all the Bible. It is odd. You know, I've told you before that I really view the book of Genesis and the patriarchal families, they're a lot like a soap opera. I mean, because what God does is He gives us a real world view of these people, flaws and all. We see them at their absolute worst. And chapter 38 is them at their worst. So we were talking about Joseph in chapter 37, and then here in chapter 38 is almost like an intermission from Joseph's story. And we pick up and we go back and we talk about this thing that happened with Judah. And it is very foreign to us as a culture because the culture that Judah was living in and dealing with was so different. And it's just also, it's in many ways perverse, just being honest. Like, you know, Judah is going to find himself hiring what he thinks is a prostitute in this chapter, and it turns out really to be his daughter-in-law. It is strange. And for many of us, it's kind of off-putting that we see these biblical figures committing these sins and being a part of these things. But I appreciate the fact that God gave us this because it shows us clearly the faults of these people and that they were just real people. Most other religious type texts that I don't believe are actually divinely inspired by God in any form or fashion, they paint the people in them as being largely without flaw. They're very good. They really gloss over any issues. They gloss over any shortcomings and failings. And the Bible doesn't do that. The Bible takes and slaps us in the face with the shortcomings of the people that He's dealing with because we're all broken. We all have shortcomings. Are all of us going out and doing what Judah does in this chapter? Absolutely not. But I have sinned. The Bible tells us for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So let's take just a second and look at just the first few verses here in this chapter. And then over the next few days, we're going to continue through it. And I promise it's going to get stranger as we go. Look at verse 1. It says, about this time, Judah left home and moved to Adullam, where he stayed with a man named Hira. There he saw a Canaanite woman, the daughter of Shua, and he married her. Then he slept with her, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. And he named the boy Er, just E-R, Er, cool name. Then she became pregnant again and gave birth to another son, and she named him Onan. And she gave birth to a third son, and she named him Shelah. At the time of Shelah's birth, they were living in Kezib. Okay, so we had some fun words, some fun names there. And in this, Judah has left home, and he gets involved in this ungodly, unwise marriage. We don't even know the lady's name. We just know her father's name. But he gets connected with this Canaanite woman, and it is never good. It is a bad scene. So these Canaanite neighbors are corrupting the family. They're corrupting the family of Jacob. They're corrupting the line of Abraham here. And so Judah's troubles begin when he leaves home. He steps away from his family and he gets tied up with this guy named Hira, who is an Adullamite. And so the events of this chapter inform us that Hira was a close friend of Judah, but he was also a very bad influence on Judah. And so Judah decides he's going to marry this woman, probably because she was attractive to him. That's the only reason he wanted to have anything to do with her. And it leads him from this start down a deep, dark road of sin. And it is not a good story. But here we go. Judah having children with this Canaanite woman. The children will not be raised to worship the Lord as they should. And it's going to lead us down some dark roads. And we'll explore some more of those next time.